Alright, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be adding this scope mount, this A&W scope mount, and these cocking handles to this A&W custom HX24 wind velocity gas blowback pistol. I'll be also adding this red dot sight to the scope mount. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to take out the gun. There it is. Alright, so starting, you're going to want to put these cocking handles in. So it's going to come with right-handed and left-handed cocking handles. So if you're right-handed, you're going to hold the gun like this, and this cocking handle is going to go right here so you can pull it back. If you're left-handed, this one's going to go on just, the opposite way. And then it's also going to come with this tiny little screw there, and you'll see what that's for in a minute. That's just to go in that hole to screw in to a hole that's about right there. Alright, so that's what we're going to put on first, then we'll move on to this, and then the red dot. So, first, you're going to want to take the mag out, and then pull it back to that arch right there, and kind of pull this out. Pull that off. Then you're going to want to take this off. Your fingernails under there, pulling it back, and then pulling it to the right of this. Pull that. Usually you're going to want to pull this entire thing out, but on my previous videos, I said I can't get that entire thing out. More detail on that last video. But now, it's going to be taking off this sight picture. So, you're going to want to get a flathead screwdriver, just like this, and unscrew this right here. And this is under a little bit of a spring tension. So, when you unscrew this all the way, kind of hold this down with your thumb. Can you not? Alright, so you're gonna get the flathead screwdriver and unscrew this. This is under a little bit of a spring tension, so make sure to hold this down with your thumb. Not that much of a spring tension, so it's like super hard to get undone, but it's under a lot. You don't want to lose the little spring. There's a little tiny spring, so you want to set that kind of with we're in like a little kind of, I don't know, like a cup or something, or just off the side where you won't lose it. So now, right there's a little Phillips head screwdriver, or a little Phillips head screw right there, and you're going to want to take that out, and that's where you're going to put in that little screw that I was talking about in the beginning of the video. So, you're going to take this off. It's a super tiny screw, so it's pretty easy to get off. And, make sure you don't lose that if you plan on putting this back on. So now you would think this would just fall out and it would be fine. It doesn't. It's still up in there. And what you're going to have to do is, right in the back here, there's going to be that right there. So you're going to want to take a flathead screwdriver, and there's going to be kind of two like slits along the side. I don't know how you guys can see that, but it's going to be like right there. It's a little slit. You're going to basically use that like a flathead screw and unscrew that. And now this is in 3 parts, so try not to lose this. It is as well under a little bit of a spring pressure, so try not to lose that while you're unscrewing it. And then you just kind of pull it out a little bit if you can get it. There we go. So like I said, it kind of comes in 3 parts. The spring kind of stays in now. Back in like that, and we'll just put that to the side because we will be needing that, unlike the sight picture. So now, this part is just going to fall off. If I can make sure that's in this, I want to make sure this, the barrel is back. but this is going to fall out. And make sure you don't lose that spring. I don't know if you guys can see that falling out, but the spring, make sure you don't lose that. So this, we don't need to do anything with that. The sight picture will just kind of slide off like that. So now you're going to have this. You put the sight picture over with your screws and spring go into that. So now I'm going to attach the right-handed one to right here. Now how this works is you don't just pop it in, right? You see how that's kind of like on an angle? What you're going to want to do is put it on whatever side you want and then slide it in, right? So now this isn't going to fall out if you push it that way, but this way it will come off. And you know, with the left one, you're just going to do that, but the other way. Kind of just set it down and then kind of slide it in. But what we're going to do before, or no, yeah, you put this on, and then you're going to want to reinstall this. And how you reinstall this is you make sure this is back all the way, and make sure this can kind of go in and out pretty easily. Because if you don't, like, sometimes you can get kind of like gas buildup in this rubber part right there. Will get kind of like moist, if you will, and it will kind of get stuck in like this position, and it won't cock back all the way and go back in. So, you know, make sure that's all fine. And if it is sticking a bit, just maybe put some like WD-40 on there or something, like around the inside of this, and it should work. And then it should work very well for a decent amount of time. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna kind of put it back up in the way it came. Pop back up, make sure all these are like fitting in like so. And right there, this will come out. I don't know why they have that so it can fall out in a separate part, but it will fall out if you're wondering. Not, but before you put it in, make sure to put this spring right like that. Rest it in there, and then push it up. Make sure everything's aligned nice and neat. Alright, so now, what I like to do first, you can really do this in any order, but make sure this doesn't move if you pull it or push it or anything, you know, kind of wiggle it, make sure that doesn't move. And what I like to do first is I like to screw this in, the little bolt that you got with the cocking handle, because the other screw is a little bit harder while you're having to hold the blowback unit in. So just screw that in. If I can screw. Alright. So if you can see that little hole right there, what you're going to want to do is grab this part by, you see that little bead, not where I'm holding it right now, but you see that little part that kind of sticks out. You're going to want to grab it by that, so then you can kind of place it in instead of just go around guessing. So I like to push it all the way through and then grab it by right there, and then just kind of plop it in. If I hold it up, I'll just kind of plop it in like that while it's upright, and then you just screw it in. Yep. Alright, so that's on. That's good. Make sure when you pull this back, it snaps back. Everything's good and doesn't get stuck or anything. And that's good. So I'm just going to put this left handle over here. Alright, so now that we have that assembled, we need to put back in, you know, the guide rod for the slide. There we go. Now, that's all good. Slide this back on. So now, if you guys do get this sight mount, this is going to come with this bolt, which is going to be right here, then a little washer over that. Just take that off. Not a washer, but like a little bolt that goes underneath that. You don't really need that bolt to put it on, So like if you lose it or you actually drop it and you can't find it, it's not that big of a deal. If you you know, if you want to keep it, you can, just to hold it. I think it was just there for shipping, so, and you know, this bolt, and so that this bolt doesn't come out. But if you want to keep it, you know, personal preference. I lost mine, so I don't really have that much of a choice. But yeah, and you will also have a little bolt that will screw in right, that will come off, and it screws in right there. In packaging, I think it comes screwed in there. So you want to unscrew just this part, not this part. This part, when you want it to stay on, it can be unscrewed, but it's easier if you just leave it on, because if you take it off and try to put it together, you're gonna have to end up, you know, putting that in the right way, and yeah, it's a big hassle. So essentially what this does is, it's this little bar part that holds, see that circle right there and the circle right there, it goes through and makes this to be able, so when it shoots back forward, it doesn't come flying off. You see how you can see through it, that it moves? Yeah. Alright, so to install this, you're going to want to start by removing that, and just try to hold that kind of still, and so it doesn't move out of its position of where it is. So you're going to want to unscrew this. And when you're screwing this back in, you're going to want to make sure that your beaver tail safety can still go in and out, because it can kind of pop out since this is loose. And then once it's screwed in, everything is ready. This won't be able to press down, you won't be able to fire the gun. So that would be, that would suck. So now you're just going to kind of drop that into the hole right there. And it's not going to go all the way in, you'll notice. And right now, we don't want it to go. Well, if you really want to, you can, but you're going to have to cock the handle back, and I like to get this screw in first before I do that. So you're going to have to get a smaller Allen key to screw this in. There we go. Now once that's screwed in, don't screw it all the way in, because it will harm the slide, because it's not all the way in. So unscrew that a little bit. You're going to pull this back a little bit to about that arch, and it will kind of fall into place. Slide it forward, and then just screw that in. It's nice to be nice and tight. So now that's looking pretty good. Make sure this can still go back and everything's good and functioning like it normally was. Alright, so now make sure this is all the way screwed in, just so this doesn't fall out, because sometimes what can happen is when you're shooting this gun, the screws can unscrew, like this thing, that can unscrew a little bit if you're shooting, if you're like, you know, trying to tap like just trigger finger it or something. So make sure this is screwed in pretty hard, but don't twist it too much, because you can always just screw it back in if it does come out a bit. And you know, I've only had to like do like 3 turns to screw it back in at max to get it in, so it's not like it comes out super far. But and as well as right here, for also the next part of installing this, is to put this little screw in that you took off of the end of that. This part is super common for me to get unscrewed, and that is really like a really big drawback, because if you screw these in too much, like too hard, it can strip it, and then it will not be able to come out or go into anything. So make sure it's tight, but it's not so tight like if I try to screw this in a lot, it will go for a little bit, and then it will just kind of, it's not even doing anything now. This is, I'm trying to tighten it right now, and it just keeps going, and it's basically a circle by now. So you don't want to tighten these too hard, because it can get super stripped and like that, and never be able to run. If you do get one of them stripped, thankfully these 2 screws are the same, so you can switch them out. All you gotta do is twist like this part of this, that little bar. You have to twist that to unscrew it from there, and you can just switch it if one of them gets stripped, because all you really need is this screw. As long as this one's in, you're pretty much fine. So if that's good, this can go back. You know, that's fine. It still goes in, everything works. Well, you know, I'm saying works, but it's not actually firing anything. But if this still goes up, you know, that's a pretty good sign of it being okay. So now we're gonna install this, and this is pretty straightforward. This, all you have to do is get a little Allen key and unscrew this a little bit, and this is too small. There we go. You unscrew that just a little bit, not like, you know, you can unscrew it all the way if you want, but like they kind of get stuck on this, so you just kind of have to jerk them the other way just to get them unstuck. There you go. So then these, there we go. There, so now basically it's a personal preference, wherever you want it. I like it as close to my eye as possible. That's why I have it all the way back. How you move this is you just unscrew these, and then right below here, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. You can see the little hole right there. That's the bar along here. What you can do is you can unscrew that, unscrew these bolts, and you can move it to probably go up to about like right there. And this part will probably go up about there. And but be careful when you're unscrewing this. These don't have little, like this part right there, that doesn't have threads in it. They're little kind of like nuts almost, and so they'll fall out on you if you're unscrewing it. Try to unscrew upside down so it will stay in there. It's a big pain to get them back in, so you have to like push them in, and yeah, it's pretty annoying. But yeah, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to put it forward or backwards or in the middle. And also remember, if you want to get this up, this was a really big tip that helped me a lot. You can honestly only unscrew one and then flip it around. So instead of having to unscrew both of them and slide it forward, all you have to do is unscrew one, like say this one, and then flip it around and then push it back for both to be screwed in again. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it helped me a lot. But anyway, now you're gonna want to screw this optic in with like this part towards the back of the gun, because that's where you're able to see it. These two rods are gonna go in between these little slides. I'm just gonna hook it around like that, and then screw that in with whatever Allen key you use to unscrew them. You don't need to screw those in too much. Most likely they won't fall out. If they do, that would be really sad and just terrible. There you go. So there it is. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but that's why I was pressing it. There we go. See that? Side picture. Yep. And then you know, should go up and down, and then left and right. Right is down, left is up is left, right, down is right. So yeah, there it is. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, like and subscribe. And I'm sorry, in my last video I said comment what gun you want me to do next. For some reason my comments are turned off. I've been trying to turn them back on, and yeah, I'm sorry if you really wanted a certain gun done. Yeah, I will be trying to work on that for this video. So if the comments are up by the time this video is published, or by the time you're watching it, and if you want a specific gun done, just put it in there, and I'll see if I can do it. And again, I do have a KWA M3R9. If you want me to do that, I'll be trying to do a full disassembly of that. and I'm still working on trying to get it completely apart for you guys. But yeah, so like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.